Hello there, Mike McDermott here from the AZ Snake Pit. We're going to recap opening day. Obviously, it's been quite a while since that game ended. Seth Beer ending it with a walk-off 3-run home run, although he stepped the bat with the bases loaded in a 2-0 game when the at-bat started. 2 pitches later, obviously D-backs win it 4-2. Pretty exciting game, or at least for the bottom of the ninth was the most exciting part. So this game obviously was a well-pitched game between both sides. I think Bumgarner did okay the first 2 innings. I don't think he had his best stuff, but he was able to get a lot of soft contact early. In that 3rd inning, he ran into a little bit of trouble. I think he lost his cutter that inning. Couldn't get that pitch in the strike zone, and unfortunately, that's also is the pitch he relies on most to get outs against right-handed batters. So he was trying to hit that backdoor cutter, and he was struggling to hit that pitch in 2 strike counts, which is why he ended up walking 4 hitters in that inning. But he was able to find it on his last pitch in a do-or-die situation. Will Myers up 2-2 count. Was able to hit the low outside corner for the strike, which would ultimately be his final pitch. After the 3rd, Torey Lovullo went to Luke Weaver. I think the goal here was to try and get more than 4 outs, but Weaver obviously starter his entire life until now. Didn't quite get up to speed quickly on how a reliever is going to warm up for a game, so I think he came in a little bit cold, and it looked that way. He gave up 3 base hits in that one, although 2 of them were because the first base, although the last 2 hits were because the first baseman was holding on a runner, so there was less coverage on the right side of the infield. The ball that Ostanola hit past Marte, that's a ball that Christian Walker gets to if he's playing in his normal defensive spot. So there wasn't really a lot of hard contact on either side. I think the hardest hit ball by the Padres was Manny Machado's fly out in the 1st inning that chased Peralta to the warning track. Pretty much all the fly balls got no further than a step or 2 on the warning track. Padres got their runs in on walks and shift beaters. On the other side of the ball, Diamondbacks hitters kind of struggled with Darvish. Darvish didn't necessarily have swing and miss stuff, but he had enough movement on his pitches to get it off the barrel of the Diamondbacks hitters, which is why you saw 4-4 strikeout to walk ratio. I don't think his command was necessarily sharp, but he made Ketel Marte look pretty bad in 2 of the 3 times he faced him. And then the D-backs didn't really hit him hard either. And the hardest ball that was hit was 104 miles an hour, but that was a ball that was literally beaten to the ground by Dalton Varsho in the 6th inning. Felt like they were about to get to him, but then just ran out of outs in that 6th inning. I think Darvish was at empty when they pulled him, which is why Darvish only went 6. His command was starting to go. He walked the batter 7 out of 8 balls, but then couldn't quite get that last. Walker couldn't quite get a hold of a cookie for the final out. There was a lot of good at bats in the game, but then they were just mishitting balls. I think that was a result of Darvish's late movement on there. He had pretty decent command of both the cutter and a split finger in addition to his fastball, so he was keeping the D-backs hitters off balance. Then going into the D-backs bullpen after Weaver's very short outing, 2/3 of an inning, didn't look right. Velocity was down, and I think it was because he came in the game cold, not used to the reliever lifestyle, I suppose. But Torey Lovullo was quick to pull him. Sean Poppin came in, induced a pop fly down the first baseline where Machado ran into Christian Walker. That was a play where Machado had his head down, wasn't looking at the play, and then doesn't realize that Christian Walker's running towards him until too late. In a situation, I think he was trying to jump out of the way, but he was too close, and that's what resulted in the contact. That was clear interference. Dumps made the right call in that situation. I was yelling at the game from the throw it out because I thought it was blatant from Section 134, but watching the replay was Machado just didn't see where the defense was, and he ran right into Walker. That could have been a situation where somebody could have gotten injured, though. Fortunately, nobody got hurt. It was just an out. I don't think that's just carelessness more so than any active attempt to injure another player. Yeah, we'll go into the D-backs offense. Obviously, didn't really get into gear. I think until the 7th inning. Pavin Smith, once Darvish came off the mound, Tim Hill, side-arming lefty, came in, and Pavin Smith jumped ahead in the count, got a sinker about thigh high, middle in. ended up inside outing a ball in the left center field to kind of break that hit barrier. And that's kind of the first moment where you felt like the team had any sort of chance in the game once that first hit came down. And then, of course, Carson Kelly, and wanted to remind us that Diamondbacks lost 110 games last year. 3 pitches later, bounced into a double play, and it pretty much just killed the vibe in the stadium for the next 2 innings. It was pretty loud. And then Carson hit what I call a room service double play ball to shortstop. After that, it was kind of nothing in the 7th inning, although I think Seth Beer hit a shift beater, which then had Bob Melvin sending in Pierce Johnson. And Perdomo had a pretty lengthy at bat against Johnson, but then struck out on a curveball that was above the strike zone to close out that one. Perdomo was swinging so hard, I think he fell down. So then the 8th inning, obviously the 8th inning wasn't really that monumental. D-backs, I think, went down in order. Padres also, I believe, went down in order. Oh, wait, they went down in order because of a double play ball. And that was kind of the thing that kind of kept the team in the game. I thought the relievers, not necessarily dominant, but they did a good job of hitting with timely pitching, I suppose. Every time they had a base runner, they seemed to have a double play ball ready to go. Kind of almost like ready to go on command. Obviously, Poppin got a huge double play in the 5th inning. Noe Ramirez got a double play in the 8th inning. And then Oliver Perez 4 up, 4 down. And I think that's the situation where having the designated hitter, I think, allowed Torey Lovullo to utilize his pitchers in a much more advantageous situation. Oliver Perez faced no right-handed hitters. Pearson Profar being the switch hitter. Was the only non-lefty he faced. I think Mantiply only faced 1 right-handed hitter. Did fine against him. And, Sean Poppin Sean Poppin and Noe Ramirez got mostly the right-handed hitters up. Like I said, Lovell's management of the bullpen after the 5th inning through the 9th inning was pretty spot on. He also had JB Wendelken ready to go if the 9th inning progressed any further. Top of the 9th. So I thought Lovullo did a pretty good job of setting up his bullpen from the 5th through the 9th inning. And then also another good move, I believe, was when he sent in Cooper Hummel to face Darvish in the 6th inning. Was it Darvish in the 6th inning? I don't remember. But yeah, Hummel came in, hint for Drew Ellis. Was over 2. Hummel comes in there and he walks, I think, saw 5 pitches, I believe, and it was a walk. That was the 6th inning. I believe no, that was the 7th inning. That's when the Padres put in Pierce Johnson. And the D-backs countered with Cooper Hummel at the plate. Because the situation when base runner was going to be put the potential tying run at the plate, or as I like to joke in the game day threads, the trying run. So now going to the 9th inning, obviously, the first thing I kind of noticed, obviously, the Padres brought in a pitcher I'd never heard of, obviously, Robert Suarez. Guy throws gas, guy can't throw, but I don't know if it was a situation. He didn't have a track record of not being wild in his last year in the in Japan. 58 to 8 strikeout to walk ratio is ridiculous for any reliever. And obviously you can see why when he first pitch came in at 100. But good news is I don't think he threw very many pitches at 100 miles an hour that were in the strike zone. 2 walks on 9 pitches, I think, to Walker. Missed pretty badly on all 4 to Walker. Smith, I think he got an extended strike call on 3-0. Smith ended up walking on a pitch that was way up above the strike zone. Yeah, and then actually Suarez got ahead of Kelly 1-2. But ended up losing a hold of a, I don't know what it was called. It was a sinker according to StatCast. I'm probably sure that was a changeup or a splitter kind of pitch. Lost the handle on that one. Ended up going to the backstop. So now it was a situation where Carson Kelly in 2-2 count just needed to hit to tie it. Gets hit in the back with another I think it was a 91 mile an hour off speed pitch that hit him in the back. Not intentional. Obviously, this guy was clearly an emotional mess. And that's kind of the thing. The one thing that probably cost Bob Melvin is putting a rookie in to close a 2-0 game on opening day. Never been there before. You don't know what you're going to get kind of situation. And I think maybe perhaps perhaps that was the Padres' undoing there. Of course, Suarez is not going to be their closer. They just made a trade for Taylor Rogers from Minnesota. Probably one of the most dominant relievers that nobody had ever really heard of the last couple of years. But he's been mostly because of the Twins' lack of winning in the last couple of years. But he's a guy that has ridiculous strikeout numbers, doesn't really walk anyone. I think he has, from a percentage standpoint, 30% more strikeouts than walks. But fortunately, he wasn't available last night, and the D-backs will gladly take that. So ninth inning, after the bases were loaded. So now obviously you can't have a pitcher that doesn't throw strikes. So they bring in Craig Stammen. First pitch, bounces the ball in the left-handed batter's box and goes to the backstop, and that causes 1 run to score. Obviously, and then the go-ahead run now in scoring position. They'd already run for Pavin Smith in the inning, so they were down to Jose Herrera on the bench. So there was no pinch runner for Kelly, even though his run was critical. And in a situation where you have Jake McCarthy at third base, you don't necessarily need a deep fly ball. As I mentioned in the season preview on the opening day roster analysis, Jake McCarthy is one of the fastest players in the game. You probably only have to hit it about 250 feet and maybe make the left fielder move laterally a step or two. An outfielder. If you hit the Jerkson Profar, you're gonna. It's like if it's hit the Jerkson Profar, obviously, I think they would have scored. Kind of situation, but obviously Seth Beer was thinking fly ball in that situation, but of course the fly ball also cleared the fence, and that was and then second pitch, Craig Stammen threw another breaking ball right into Seth Beer's happy zone. That was the same location, the strike zone. He hit his first major league homer off Diego Castillo. And of course, the added headline, I found out after the game that yesterday was National Beer Day. So, of course, Seth Beer wins the game on a National Beer Day with a walk-off home run. It's one of those things where sports is better than fiction type moments. And it's I was here when Seth Beer hit a walk-off home run on National Beer Day in a situation. Kind of in that bat, you could kind of feel the energy course around the stadium. That was probably the most electric the stadium has been since Archie Bradley's triple in the wild card game. It was like everyone was going beer, beer, beer when he came up in the ninth inning. And I think there was a Let's Go D-backs chant that was going on right before Seth Beer hit that home run. You can see that on the short where you see Seth Beer hitting the home run. You don't see the ball go off the bat, but you see the swing. Anyways, yeah, that's a big confidence booster win for the Diamondbacks, 1-0. I can't remember first time they were above 500 since May 2nd, I believe, last year. So obviously a long way to go. 161 games to go. So game 2, they're going to be starting. The D-backs will be facing Sean Manaea. They picked him up last week from Oakland in trade. Padres doing a lot of trades this year. And the D-backs will be sending in Merrill Kelly. Kelly obviously getting that recent contract extension, be asked to pitch a lot of innings for the team for the next 3 years, 4 if they deem his contract option worth exploring in 2025. It'll be interesting to see how he goes the next few years. Obviously, team needs someone that can eat innings, and Kelly provides that role pretty well.